Hello everyone, welcome to Fashion Calgary. My name is Anya Basek and I'm here today with Calgary eye-opener at CBC Radio, David Gray. How are you, David?
I'm just fine. Nice to have you in my home. This is Thumper, by the way.
Yeah. So actually I'm supposed to introduce him as well, and it's probably for the first time in our Fashion Calgary video career to have a dog as part of our interview, which makes me so happy because he's so warm and so nice and so gentle and such a great I would say bodyguard for our little baby on set as well. So thank you for that, David. I think you have arranged all of that in a way ahead. I want to ask you a little bit about your journey. You've been in this broadcasting media industry for over 20 years. Tell me a little bit more, how did it start and how it evolved throughout the years?
Well, it's a good question. Yeah, I've been at this for over 20 years. I worked in television for many years. I was a documentary maker for CBC. Lived in Toronto for a while, even though I'm a Calgary boy, born and bred. And Thumper's getting interested, pardon me. You'll get to your story a little bit later. But then I spent many years in television, hosted TV shows. But after a certain period of time, I sort of was lured and attracted by radio. And CBC Radio feels like my true home these days, and it's and the Eye Opener is the show that created a home for me, and I've never been happier.
What time you need to be up every morning?
That's always the very first question. I get two things. One, if I'm out in the evening, I'll have somebody come up to me and say, "Isn't it time you got home?"
Wow.
Yeah, and not use any time after 9. I'll have people scared that I'm not going to be awake in the morning. You know, I'm up around 4. I'm in the office before 5, or at 5, or around 5, depending on the day. And that's just become my routine in life. You learn to deal with it.
What's the statement you start your show with?
The statement I start, well, it's always the same thing. I'm David Gray, and this is the Calgary Eye Opener for. Put the date in there, and then we talk about the news of the day. Radio's different from television. It's unscripted. We have guidelines we go by, but that's the joy of radio. It's live. It's 2.5, 3 hours every day of just having a conversation with friends.
What was the most memorable moment in your career when it comes to TV and now when it comes to the radio?
Well, I love people's stories. Back when I was a traveling correspondent, I spent some time in the Middle East. I visited Yasser Arafat in his beach house once in Gaza. That was interesting. I was up in the Bekaa Valley in Lebanon for a while. Filed stories from New York, London, Cairo. I've been very fortunate in my career to have a lot of great experiences, but these days it's the opposite. I'm the one who stays in one place and people come visit me, and it's a different stage to be at, but I enjoy it.
Well, and we are so happy to have you on board for this year campaign. Well, having a chance to actually meeting so many people, and having now you in Calgary at CBC Radio, and you know, doing some other cultural stuff. I want to ask you about that in a second, but what do you think about the cultural scene in Calgary in general, and how did it change over the years? Because I'm sure you've seen some changes.
Sure, it's changed a lot. I remember the day, you know, back in the 80s, where a lot of musicians and artists would leave Calgary, would have to leave Calgary in order to get the attention that they needed on the national and the international stage. There's still a little bit of that. I mean, we can't kid ourselves. But the truth is, we have such a vibrant community here now, and there are so many artists who are engaged in everybody's lives. We just heard from the Calgary Foundation the other day that we had 100,000 people going out to different arts events last year. That's incredible for this city, and there's so much going on any given day or any given night. And particularly on the music scene, the Calgary music scene is scaring Toronto, scaring Montreal, and exciting Vancouver. So these are good things, I think.
And you almost went a little bit ahead of me, because I want to ask you a question about, tell me a little bit more about David Gray that 99% people don't know when, especially listening to CBC Radio. Because I've heard some stories this morning here. And this shirt speaks itself.
There's nothing you don't know. No, like everyone, I've got my own personal interests. I play in a band. We have a great time. It's called Sweet Potato. If you haven't heard Sweet Potato, you should soon be a Sweet Potato fan. We're largely a dad band, but we play a lot of gigs around town, a lot of charity gigs. We played ski hills and the rest in the past. That's one of my great preoccupations, that and spending any time I can in the mountains and this dog keeps me busy too. So.
Do you like watch birds and nature?
Do I like to? Yeah, I used to. Okay, all right, that's.
I wanted.
Fair enough. Yeah, I used to be a park naturalist many years ago before I got into journalism. I worked in Kananaskis many years ago. So that was a great gig, and that's one of the reasons I still get out there.
I think we could just go endless here with discovering more about David, but
no, that's probably more than enough. I think.
I know, but what I wanted to say is, like, if you would like to meet David or see him, you can come for the gala, because we hope you and your wife will be able to come for a Fashion Calgary Portrait Campaign Gala to celebrate.
We would love to be there, and thanks so much for coming to visit my home.
Well, and thank you for having us. We feel grateful. And
well,
thank you.
The dog trusts you, so I trust you. I guess the first.
Perfect. So I love the dog too. Thank you.